when Comey was doing an investigation that Trump didn't like, Donald Trump fired Comey. When Barr wasn't giving him the results that he wanted from his investigations, Donald Trump fired Barr. When Donahue and Rosen weren't doing the investigations or coming up with the answers that he wanted, he tried to fire Rosen and Donahue. Like, there's precedence for all this. Donald Trump, it's not even like a thing you have to guess he could do. He's already literally done all these things. These are just things that he's already done.
Consuming, and it becomes a huge pain in the you-know-what to be investigated by the federal authorities. And that is the message that he is sending.
Like the Russian collusion.
He knows full well that there is nothing that's been destroyed, because had it been destroyed, his lawyers would have filed a motion.
Yeah, but Julie, I would say to you,
they were not in a position where they could investigate this. They were not in
a position where they could file a motion. What do you mean? Go to court, file a motion for it. These are the most litigious, that's a word, right? Motherfuckers in the universe. These guys filed 100 fucking cases on bullshit election stuff. It was all invented and fictional. They couldn't file an actual fucking case.
A position to do that.
I would say to Julie, look, when you weaponize the justice system of the United States of America against
the question then needs to be, I'm sorry, is it the weaponization of the justice system every single time a politician is investigated or indicted? Because you can't keep letting Pierce say this bullshit that it was weaponized against Trump. I think, did I ask him this? And he laughed and he said it was, and his answer was, well, it's self-evident that it was. I don't remember what he gave that answer. Like, you need to hear that more. Say that at least. Litigious? Maybe that's the word.
President of the United States. First ever criminal court case we've ever seen involving a president. And it's about shuffling some paperwork over an alleged one-night stand he denies with a porn star 18 years ago. When you render the justice system...
I understand that you're British, and maybe it's different in Bonger land, but this was the state of New York. If you want to take umbrage with the state of New York, then go fight the state of New York. This is not the Department of Justice. It's not the United States federal government, and it's not what is under Biden's purview or Merrick Garland's purview. So I don't know why the fuck you're bringing up the state of New York's charges against Trump. If you want, bring up the Mar-a-Lago case and bring up the January 6th case. But like moving all these things in a way where they all seem like the same thing is just...
To be such a politically motivated farce, and most Americans actually thought that.
Well, not the ones that were on the jury, which are probably the ones that saw the most of it, right? Isn't it strange that you can say that most Americans thought it was bullshit, but a jury of 12 people in New York, right? Jury of 12 people all unanimously agreed that Donald Trump was guilty of the crimes that he was being accused of? Isn't that kind of weird?
You do that as an administration, when you allow that to happen.
An administration that allowed New York, it's New York State. None of this, please, somebody. Brian, you've got this. Brian does law stuff. Brian's got this.
You open up a whole can of worms. You've done it first. You've gone after this guy. You've tried everything you could, however petty, trivial, ridiculous,
now
to try and
you
put him in jail. And when it doesn't work and it actually backfires,
they give the whole game away here. This is why these Republicans are disgusting as fuck. Like, if you could show me that fucking CEO dude voted for Trump, listen, my whole fucking opinion on that thing would change. Okay, listen, this is why they give the whole game away when he says that. Oh. Remember. Hold on. Just, I want you to have this in your head, okay? Because I said this before, all right? The reason why Republicans can do anything they want is because they think that Democrats have already done it. That's why. So when you ask them, like, wait, aren't you doing like all this horrible, terrible, illegal shit? They'll be like, well, the Democrats already have, right? So when Donald Trump says that he wants to put a guy in the FBI who has a political hit list of enemies, right? And you're like, well, isn't this like really bad? Like Andrew just said it, now you reap the whirlwind. He thinks that the Dems have already done all these bad things, so now the Republicans are going to do all these bad things, right? That's exactly what is happening here.
Ridiculous
now
to try
and
put him in jail. And when it doesn't work and it actually backfires and it fuels him and he ends up winning big.
So you're talking about a state. So you're talking about
Piers,
by the way, Piers, you're talking about a state. You're talking about a state charge that has nothing to do with Joe Biden. If you're talking about federal investigations,
I'm talking about Democrat-motivated prosecutors.
What do you, bro? It's a different venue. It's a totally different venue. It's not even...
Who were doing their master's lead, right?
I don't know who you're talking about. If you're talking about the Justice Department...
There's no evidence for that whatsoever.
...over which Donald Trump will have authority by appointing an attorney general, I am telling you that what the Justice Department under Joe Biden was investigating is the fact that Donald Trump refused to return classified information that he stored in his bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. It is the fact that he incited a violent riot that effectively harmed and hurt our transfer of power for the first time in our nation's history.
Well, you're now
So from
convicting
that
him of all these
perspective,
crimes, which he's not being convicted of.
No, he was charged with those crimes, but now we'll never see that in a courtroom because all those charges are gone now.
I'm not
None of them.
I'm
The
not
only thing he's
convicting
being
him of anything
convicted of
because
is
a jury
shuffling
has not
paperwork
convicted him.
with a porn star. And let me rephrase.
but that's-
Hang on. Wait, let me rephrase what I was saying. I'm talking about weaponizing the justice system. Let's make it a more all-encompassing.
It's not all encompassing because you don't know anything about the structure of the United States. It is not an all encompassing justice system. We have at least 51 distinct jurisdictions in the United States. I don't know what Puerto Rico or like U.S. territories fall under, but every single state has its own criminal justice system. Every single state has its own 3 branches of government, their own state constitutions, their own legal authorities that you have to answer to. And then you have the United States federal government. All of these jurisdictions are distinct.
Thing where you have Democrat slanted prosecutors who just want to jail Trump, even if it's down for shuffling paperwork over a porn star. To me, it was utterly.
Why were they able to get a whole? How many people are on the fucking New York grand jury? It's like 20 people. I don't know if they have to unanimously agree, but a grand jury agreed to the charges. They went through the whole trial process. Jury convicted him. I mean,
ridiculous, that case. And the idea that you then criminally convict.
I don't disagree with that.
Well, right.
Case.
So my point is,
disagree with
right,
that-
I don't think
with that
anyone
case.
disagrees with it, really. So here's my point: is that
wait, doesn't disagree with what?
ridiculous, that case, and the idea that you then criminally
I don't
convict.
disagree with that.
Well,
with that
right.
case.
So my
I don't
point is.
Oh, yeah, and then you have to bite the bullet. There's not even a bullet to bite here. That like, oh, this was a politically motivated case.
Agree with
Well,
that.
I don't think
with that
anyone
case.
disagrees with it, really. So here's my point: is that as a Democrat, when you look at this, what's happening now, why wouldn't Trump do this? I mean, he's perfectly entitled to return the favor, isn't he? All's fair in love and politics.
To do what? To do what? Because we
To
have
be equally
specific-
as aggressive.
Investigate-
Notice how he doesn't answer the question, to be equally as aggressive. But keep in mind, in their world, in their mind, like the worst things ever have already been done by the Democrats. One second.
To
Launched
be equally as
investigation
aggressive.
on political targeting.
He has specific crimes with which he was charged. What are the specific crimes with which you want to charge Liz Cheney? That she stood up to Donald
Well,
Trump?
that's not the
that she did
point.
her-
That's not the
That's always the killer question. And it should always be the question you ask. Okay, well, what are the crimes that they committed? There will never be an answer for stuff like that. He has no answer for that. He'll never have an answer, and it's never the point.
Point, hang on, that's not the
duties
point.
As a
But-
congressperson?
No, but Julie, the point is, we don't know because what is being mooted is that there are going to be blanket immunities against any crime that may have been committed, which does, I'm afraid, prompt the question, what are they hiding? Why are you so scared? If there's literally nothing there,
Well, first
if
of
none
all,
of
they're
them
not
did
taking
anything
them.
wrong,
Do you see Liz Cheney
why do
accepting
you
it?
need blanket
Do you
immunity?
see- Because you have a Justice Department that was just told in very clear terms by Donald Trump to the people that he's putting in there, whom he considers to be his loyalists, that he believes that these people committed crimes by
But it doesn't matter. But the thing is, I agree with what she's saying, obviously, but the Republicans think that the Democrats have already done this.
investigating him. That is what they're looking into. Not that they might have smoked pot back in 1974 in college.
Why would you need a
Not that
pardon
they
for
might
that,
have
though?
driven drunk in 1983. For what?
Yeah, but why would you need a
Why do you
pardon
need a
for that? It
pardon?
makes no
Be-
sense. So
because-
if Trump,
because-
even if
because
Trump is
nobody
investigating,
wants to
hang
go-
on. Let me ask the question. Even if it were the case that Trump wanted to open an investigation as to whether or not there was foul play during the previous administration's investigations of him, why in the world would this require a pardon to these people? That makes no sense to me.
To prevent somebody from being able to investigate now with subpoena power to dig through your entire life and then to misleadingly present some trail of facts like the Republican House committees have already done in order to attack you in the court of public opinion, since you can never win in criminal court or civil court, which they've already done.
Me at all.
Because why do these
would there be
people
a requirement
need to,
of a
because
pardon?
why do these people need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees on dealing with
You should bring up what I just said. This is a point too, but she should just bring up what I said.
BS? which is part of their oversight duties to have
We
done.
don't know
they
if
were
it's
members
BS.
of
We haven't
Congress.
investigated
they have
it yet. What are you
immunity
talking
to do
about?
this.
So we just can't investigate
Excuse me,
anybody
we do
because
know
there
it's
could
BS
it could be
because
bad.
It is part of their.
No, we don't know.
It is part. It is part. Listen, do you understand how it works? Have you ever worked on the Hill? Because I can tell you, they have immunity as senators and Congress people to do their oversight responsibilities.
They have civil immunity. I think even judges and prosecutors, I believe, have civil immunity. They don't have criminal immunity though. So I don't, or at least I've never heard that before, that they have immunity, criminal immunity. I know they have civil immunity, but
Well, I thought you just said
literally
a second
laws
ago
in the
that there's going to be
United
hundreds of
States.
thousands of dollars in legal fees. Now you're backtracking
Because
on that?
of course you'll have to go because you're gonna.
oh, the speech and debate clause, isn't that only when you're on the floor debating though? Isn't that literally just when you're having debate in the House? Like literally on the floor talking? I thought. Let me read this again real quick. They shall in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. Shall not be questioned. That might be, I think that's criminal and civil. But this is for speech or debate in either house. Does this extend to all actions done on committees and everything? I don't know what the ruling is on this, or if this has even been tested before.
Have to go hire lawyers to be able to prove that this was part of their
Well, I
oversight
thought you just said they had
duties.
immunity.
Do you
Like
think
you
these
can't have
people
it
want?
both ways here.
Jesus, do you understand how this works?
Yeah.
You have to get a lawyer
trying
to go
to.
to
I'm
court
trying-
to tell a judge.
Okay, so then-
all of this.
So they don't
you
have
obviously
immunity?
don't understand how it works. You obviously don't. I'm sorry. Do you not understand what I'm getting here? Specifically?
No, Andrew has absolutely no legal background and no legal understanding whatsoever. Just because you might have immunity or defense, this might be a privilege that you have to assert pre-trial. So you'd have to hire a lawyer, they would have to look over things, they'd have to find cases, they'd have to do the citations, and then they'd have to file the motion to dismiss that's citing the immunity that you're claiming to have privilege to. Like, depending on how big the case is and how many different ways you're being hit, this could still be a pretty costly procedure. And if you fuck it up, you might be facing, big federal investigations or federal prosecution. So no, Andrew has no idea what he's talking about here.
Julie,
No, I don't
Hold on one second,
understand
Pierce.
why these people
Julie-
need to have a part in.
She needs to, and she or Brian needs to back up. You have to explain from a very, very, very fundamental thing, how the U.S. criminal justice system works. Because I don't know if anybody listening I don't know for the people on this panel, I don't know who knows what is even what is even happening. These people probably just have no idea.
Because they might be investigated for potential crimes they may have committed.
Can I
and
tell you
say they have
something?
nothing to worry
Can
about
I tell you
because there were
something?
no
What
are the-
crimes.
what are the
then why do you need the
crimes?
pardon? It makes
They
no
have-
sense.
Did you hear that? Oh, well, if you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't have to worry about being infinitely investigated. It's crazy that the big free speech guys now, right? They 180 as soon as it's on Trump's side, but it's because it's all part of the show.
Have a part in because they might be investigated for potential crimes they may have committed.
Can I
and
tell you
say they have
something?
nothing to worry
Can
about
I tell you
because there were
something?
no
What are the-
crimes.
what are the
then why do you need the
crimes?
pardon? It makes
They
no
have-
sense.
No, but Brian, hang on.
And you-
don't talk at once, please. Brian, you say, what are the crimes? That's the point. We don't know, and we may
But you're
never know.
you're looking for crimes because Donald Trump is looking for crimes because he doesn't like Liz Cheney and the fact that she did
No, he
oversight.
genuinely
But to
believes she's
Julie's
broken.
exact point,
He
to
genuinely
Julie,
believes
here's the
she's
point.
committed crimes.
Which crime? The name one.
Here's the point. To Julie's
crime?
exact point, first of all, what crimes? Second of all, it costs
you.
money to get legal representation to go prove all of this
Good.
stuff. And third of all, it's moot. It's moot because all of these people have immunity anyway. You are allowed to act in your oversight capacity in Congress and the Senate to pass legislation to discuss
You
this
can't
stuff.
break
You
the
didn't
law.
care when Trump had to spend on lawyers. You didn't
But
care
what
about
law
that.
was broken? Yeah, you're right. They can't break
Trump was alleged to have broken specific laws, though. We can point to those laws. They're on his charging documents.
the law, but there was no
So
law
that's the
that was
point.
broken. But it doesn't change the fact.
So
it
why
doesn't
do you
change
need
the
an
fact that it still
all-encompassing
costs-
immunity if you've never broken
Yeah, why do
the
you need
law?
all-encompassing immunity if there's no laws
because they're
broken?
I don't know.
guilty.
I don't. I don't
All right,
know.
let me-
if you
all right,
guys
let me
are
bring
playing
in- let me
dumb.
bring in Vinny.
I don't know if you guys are playing dumb or not, but the fact is
I don't
that
think
we
it's us
know
playing dumb,
that
Brian.
It costs money
No,
to
you
go
are
to
playing
move
dumb.
forward with this.
No, I'm actually playing devil's
Brian,
advocate.
but you
I
guys-
tell you what,
you
look,
guys-
hang on. I'm going to bring Vinny in, but I am playing devil's advocate here because I do think there's a shocking hypocrisy by the Democrats, led by Joe Biden. The whole year they banged on about the rule of law. No one's above the rule of law. And here is President Biden in his last few weeks basically riding roughshod over the rule of law to bail out
Pierce,
all
you're
his
pretending,
family and all his
that it's
mates.
happening in a vacuum. Piers, you're pretending that it's happening in a vacuum,
No,
and
I'm not.
because Donald Trump
I'm
has
not.
come
I'm
out
saying
and
you.
said
I'm
that
saying
he's
you
going
reap.
to use.
I'm saying you reap what you sow, though. You reap what you sow.
But Donald Trump has promised to use his Justice Department as a vehicle to enact his personal retribution toward. That is why it's happening.
All right.
By
Brian,
pretending that there's
Good.
Brian,
Good.
but Brian,
Let me bring
Brian,
in
you're
Vinny.
saying good for Brian. Good, because we want Brian. Good for him. If they did illegal shit, then go to jail. You guys are talking all that crap, and you're warning what Trump is going to do to what Biden and his DOJ has done,
Already done.
this entire 4 years.
This is exactly what I'm saying. This is what 98% of conservatives in the United States believe. This is what you have to understand when you're talking to these things, okay? Is that they already think that all of this has happened. In their mind, every single thing that that they're accusing the Dems of doing that aren't even things that are up for discussion or on the table, they already believe they've already done. They already think they've already done. This is the
What Trump is going to do to what Biden and his DOJ has done this entire 4 years. Are you not seeing it? And
What
if
did
you think
they
I'm
do?
just feel
I'm
bad
curious.
because
What
they're
did
going to
they
have to spend
do?
money.
Curious
Excuse me.
What did they do?
Let
Do
me
you think
finish.
Donald Trump?
Let me
Do you think
finish.
Donald
You
Trump
think
should
you
have?
want
Do you
me to
think
feel
Donald Trump
bad?
should have
You
stored
want me
his
to feel
documents
bad
in
for them,
Mar-a-Lago?
Julie, spending money on lawyers? How much money have they gutted out of Donald Trump? How many people have suffered for that fake-ass crossfire
Zero,
hurricane?
because he had his campaign paid for everything.
Hold on.
Zero,
Russia
because people like you
collusion,
sent money
Hillary
into him.
got fined. DNC got fined. You're not going to talk over me.
what? Russia collusion, Hillary and the DNC got fined over.
Let me finish. Thank you. And your whole, he incited an insurrection. It's all bullshit.
Why wasn't he charged with insurrection or incitement?
There was no insurrection. He said, go quiet, go peaceful, don't hurt anybody. It got out of hand, but well.
I like how we add more and more every single time. He didn't say any of those things, by the way. He said, I know you'll be walking peacefully to the Capitol. He didn't say, go quiet, go peaceful, don't hurt anybody. I like how there's like a whole new thing added every single time they bring it up.
He said, go quiet, go peaceful, don't hurt anybody. It got out of hand, but well, the FBI can't even answer. How many FBI agents were on the ground? Ted Cruz asked her in Congress.
my God.
How many of them incited violence? It's all
It's
fake.
like listening to
Nobody
a
got
Facebook
arrested for
comment
If we're going to go
section.
down the conspiracy rabbit hole, there's no point in even talking about this because it's like
Yeah,
one
I know.
person is
Oh,
saying that the Earth is round
Again,
and somebody else is
it
saying the
doesn't
Earth is
fit your
flat.
narrative.
You're
Like, you call it a conspiracy theory, which it is, but like half the country believes in this shit. Yeah. It's so crazy too how they bounce between so many things. There was no violence. The police let them in. We saw Tucker Carlson's video. Nothing was violent about it. It was a peaceful protest. Okay, yeah, well, it was also a super violent insurrection, but it was started by the feds. It was a feds insurrection, or Antifa, actually. It was an Antifa insurrection. The federal agents on the ground and Antifa started a violent insurrection. But also, there were no guns there, right? Remember, there wasn't a single gun. So it actually wasn't violent. There were no guns there whatsoever. It wasn't violent at all. Like, you saw the cops letting them in. There were no guns anywhere. But also, Antifa and the feds started a violent insurrection. But only one person died. So there wasn't even, like, it's just, it's living in all worlds at all points in time. There's not even an attempt to be truthful, right? These are just emotions, right, that are coming out. Yeah, it's just like, how do I feel about this thing? And no matter what, I feel like Donald Trump wasn't wrong in anything. I don't know what happened. Don't care what happened. But Donald Trump definitely wasn't the bad guy there.
flat
Your
earthers,
narrative
and there's
is
no
a
point in
Facebook
debating
section
it.
All right,
comes
Daniel,
later.
let's
It
talk
doesn't
ones.
fit your
You're a
narrative.
flat
Don't
earther.
talk about
There's
although
no
I would
point in
say,
debating it.
Julie, hang on.
Julie,
I would say, Julie, if we're going to go down conspiracy routes, I do remember a 2-year conspiracy being peddled by almost everyone in the American media that Trump had the election fixed by his collusion with Vladimir Putin, which turned out to be horseshit.
That's right.
Turned out to be horseshit. Donald Trump impeded that investigation 50 million different ways. We know that Stone was indicted for communicating directly with Russia. We know that Stone didn't cooperate with any of the investigation. He told everybody to fuck off. He got convicted for it, and then Trump pardoned him. We have no idea where that investigation would have gone to because Donald Trump was trying to impede that investigation at every step. He did it with Jeff Sessions when he got ass pain for Jeff Sessions for recusing himself and not rigging a phone. We know when he fired Comey, that was the whole reason why Mueller was appointed as a special investigator, is because Donald Trump fired fucking Comey for not holding the investigation. So, like, who knows where it would have gone through? We will never know. We'll never know. You want to know what definitely didn't turn up anything, though? The Hillary Clinton email shit, the Hillary Clinton Benghazi shit. Nothing fucking came of that, but we don't hear about that for some reason. At least the Russiagate investigation turned out good indictments about Russian misinformation, which it did, involving the Internet Research Agency, and it made money because we got to see some of the bullshit that Manafort had, that he was lying about, that he'd gotten from Ukraine. So at least it was profitable and we got something from it, more than we got from any of these fucking dog shit investigations that Republicans have wasted how much taxpayer money, time, and news coverage over.
So,
Exactly.
it does
Total
depend which conspiracy theory you want to
excuse
hitch
me.
Is
your
that in
horn
relation
to.
to Robert Mueller's
Excuse me.
investigation? Piers?
I don't recall ever saying that Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump colluded to steal the election. So
And like, look at how much ground you have to cover here. Like how far we're running, and like we can just, because the Republicans have done so well at instantiating so many bullshit lies into the media landscape that with just a single word or phrase, you can bring up so much of this shit that now you have to fight so hard to even begin to claw back like any amount of truth.
let's not say that
but a
everybody
lot
was
of
saying
people
it.
did.
I will say to you,
And the
if you
media
think-
did fuel that
if you
bullshit for
think-
2
if
years.
Okay, but you're asking me to debate, but Piers, you're asking right now for me to debate somebody who thinks that January 6th was a peaceful protest that got out of hand because the FBI
was.
set up these poor MAGA people to go beat up
Yeah,
cops.
it was.
I mean, if we're
Wait, it was peaceful, or there were cops on the ground inciting it? Which one was it? How are we in both worlds here?
going to
They
have
did.
that kind of
They
conversation,
did.
if we're going to have
They
that kind
can't
of
even
conversation,
admit
stop
it.
screaming in my ear, please.
Why
If we're
did-
going to have that
Hey,
kind of
Julie,
conversation,
why
All
did
right, well,
Nancy
hang on,
Pelosi
hang
turn
on.
down
It's
National
debating
Guard?
the earth is
Why
flat.
did they not want the National
All right,
Guard there?
just for the record-
Why did Stephen Son, the chief of Capitol
the
Police,
National
say
Guard-
that they were requesting help, and she denied it? She's on camera. You're
Okay.
delusional. Okay?
If you're
Insurrection. And I hope
I actually
they
thought.
want to
Hang
get
on.
you
Hang on.
I'm not interested.
Hang on.
Good.
I actually
I'm
thought
not
the
interested.
I actually thought the most interesting point that Trump made in relation to all that was the different double standard. I thought what happened on January 6th was appalling, and I think that a lot of people pay.
How do you fight against this? It's control of the media environment. Piers is allowing this to go on as it is, right? None of these people are ever held